Hello, Your Honor, and welcome now to Thursday. Well, looks like cloudy with a chance of some anxiety today for the judge and juries of the zodiac, the Librans. The moon is in Taurus, and as you know, the moon is our emotional focus, so your emotional focus has shifted to your borders and boundaries, trust and intimacy issues. Now, these are boundaries and borders everywhere, frankly. The boundary between life and death, so you might be mourning someone that's recently reincarnated. This is the boundary in sexual connection as well. That's a physical boundary, right? And there's also boundaries between truth and lies, or even a boundary of whether or not you're going to give a homeless person a quarter. That's a boundary. You're letting down a wall and you're giving, right? That said, you are emotionally charged at all your boundaries and borders, and you're really set up to put emotion into upholding those boundaries. So this is a great time to defend yourself or hold up your walls. But this is also a time you may be emotionally sensitive if someone crosses a boundary. So try not to overreact and go to the dark side of the moon. So being around in the sun, we're in chapter 3 now of Sun in Cancer. This month, Librans are working on their career and legacy issues. And today, Mercury is ruling the day. Now in chapter 3, it's always about creating a beta version of your career, or a beta version of whatever the hot topic is of that month. So you are creating a beta version until the end of this transit next week. And today, with Mercury ruling the day, this is the best day to communicate or gather information. So this is probably the best day to go have that conversation with human resources. This is probably the best day to go ahead and have a conversation with another company that you're maybe interested in hopping over to, or just gathering and researching information, going on Wikipedia, finding out what the job entails, that sort of thing. Then lastly, I want to talk about Saturn. Now Saturn is in chapter 2 of its Virgo transit for nearly 18 months. Librans have been facing their karma. Okay? Karma is spiritual wounds, basically. It's a spiritual junk in your trunk, and every 30 years we go through a karma clean-out. So if your life has been crazy, it has been hard to determine where things will go next, that's because karmic issues in your soul have been bubbling up. And these are issues that frankly go back many lifetimes. Even though you can probably point to childhood, because that's the recreation of our karma, it likely is an old ancient problem. Now, all that said, Saturn is saying it's time to act. We're in chapter 2, so we're still experimenting with what the possibilities are, what we can do or can't do, but it is time to now act on pulling on one of those weeds, facing some of that karma, healing from some of your karmic pain center, all right? And there's two things I want you to keep in mind as you act here in the next 10 days, because that's how long Saturn is saying it's time to act. One is to honor your inner child. Remember, your inner child knows exactly who you are and what you want to be when you grow up. So honor your inner child and don't let outside influences talk your inner child out of something. The second thing for you to do is be decisive. If you decide that you're going to go get some sort of therapy, be decisive, go do it. We have to experiment with the possibilities before we get to the real solution, which will be in chapter 3, by the way, which is this fall. All right, Libra, that's all I have for Thursday. I'll see you folks tomorrow with your weekend forecast. Live, love, be. So